Yeah, so client comes to me, bought Coinbase 6,000 at 262. I'm going to show you the chart here on the way back down here, somewhere here. Mistake number one, didn't tell me before you FOMO'd. A lot of Spartans, they like to do this. They like to just sneak in quietly into stocks. If that's you, cut out that bad habit. I don't buy. Price drop. They got to like 80, then they came to see me. They like to see, they like to come at this time. We're putting a plan together, had some technical analysis. I'm gonna show you some of that here today. Some of the other stuff that I look at. We got to, I needed his average price long term to be 100, basically, long and short of it. And I figured out that if I put 56 in there, I think the first one, it was something like this.
Mm.
This was the original plan. But one thing I do is when we start getting close to these levels, we go again, we tweak it. So eventually what happened is we bought another 5K at 70, and we said if it gets down to 50, we'll buy some more. When it got to 56, I didn't want to risk it not hitting 50 or dropping. It did drop to 43 in the end. It did get that low.
Mm.
But I knew that as long as my average price break even was below 100, we're good. Or
Yeah.
let me phrase it differently. There's a high chance that will be good. And there's a
Yeah.
low probability that we'll lose money. Like the risk has a high chance of being managed back into break even at a bare minimum. Bear in mind,
Yeah.
they've started from FOMO. So the first 262 price wasn't an SPA alert. So this is like breaking the rules and still using the SPA system to help you back out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the current price is 246. That person sends me screenshots. They're like 13 grand up from being 4 grand down. That's a 9, 8. That's a 17 grand swing. So the reason I'm saying this is because you can buy AMD now, and I will create an averaging plan whereby um let me try and let me find a blank. Let's say you had a 4 grand budget and you wanted to do AMD, right? And you were to buy at 170. Okay, that's the default portfolio. I already know, even from just looking at this experience, I know what I want my long-term average to be in a worst case scenario. I want it to be around 70. Ideally 50, but I can write you a plan that will get that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just checking that this makes sense. Maybe a bit similar to the Coinbase one. It's going to be around this level here. And you can see straight away your long term, this will make you an average of 44.
Yeah.
This is just experience, by the way. I know what number will get me my average.
Yeah.
70, anything between 60 and 70 will get me that long term average price of 50. So yeah, if you wanted to buy AMD today with confidence, I'd say, yeah, go ahead, do that. But the reason I stop you is because I know that even though there is a strategy that you can navigate, it's not going to be as good as waiting for an SPA alert on the green.
That just follow that, of course. Yeah, yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, people come to me with their mistakes all the time, and I'll get them out of trouble. Or I'll write a plan that can kind of give them a high chance of being able to break even. I can do that all day. That's my differentiating factor. That's what I'm really good at. But in the long run, your chances of averaging that 20% annually starts dropping when you start doing stuff like this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Get the odd one that does work, but imagine you apply the same concept to every stock you like. You're becoming suboptimal.
Yeah.
So if this is an SP alert, like 100, looks something a bit like this, probably can get to 70 and then might not hit your trade too, might then go back up. It's better. I'd
Yeah.
rather miss
Yeah.
out on, I would miss out on this all day long. I'm happy to miss out on Nvidia. I'm happy to miss out on AMD. But you know what? We'll get Meta. Meta, Meta fit the system perfectly. And it's better to rely on your Metas, your Rolls Royces, your Aston Martin, the ones that fit the
Mm.
system the best, and to only build your portfolio off those, than to go off the ones that are like, oh, I missed Nvidia, let me get AMD. If you're upset at missing Nvidia, take AMD at 100. If AMD never gets to 100, leave it alone. There's plenty more fish in the sea. There's PayPal.
Makes
Look
sense.
at PayPal. It might not be trending right now. It might not be a hot topic right now, but look at the chart for it. Potential. It's an alert. It's kind of bottomed out. Your plan for this looks quite easy. You buy PayPal today at 65, no complaint. You could even potentially do this one in the 2000. Do you know, I'm going to use a smaller budget for anyone here that's on a smaller budget. You could open with 500.
Yeah.
Let's call it 1.5 budget. Ooh, big. Comfortable with that. Comfortable. Comfortable. You're not losing money. You're not losing money on this. Some stocks get a bit of a privilege, and PayPal is one of them. We all know what it is, tick. A lot of
Yeah.
people use it, tick. A lot of businesses use it, tick. It accepts crypto payments, tick. They give out loans, tick. You probably don't need to do much research. Yes, we can check their balance sheet. Look,
Mm-hmm.
let's do a quick financial
Because that's what I
health
was
check.
gonna. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because that's one thing I was
Yeah.
gonna ask. By the way, sorry, quick one. I do have to leave in about 2-3 minutes. So I don't take up all the time.
No, it's recorded anyway, so
Cool.
it's calm. And everyone's learning listening to this. So which website do I want to use? MarketWatch. Set. So financials. First thing I always like to go look for straight away is their cash flow. Cash flow statement. Go right down to the bottom. Free cash flow. Yeah.
Mm.
This lets you know that right now they've got $1 billion in cash. It's a drop from the past two 2 years, 60% drop, as it tells you here.
Mm-hmm.
But they're still cash positive. They've got savings. So this is why AMD is not, it's not a terrible, it's not a terrible play. And you can see even 5 years ago, look at the cash that they had, not even up to $1 billion. Then they had 2 years of their cash has gone down. Maybe they've reinvested in stuff. Maybe they've bought some smaller companies. I haven't checked that. But yeah, this is one of the first things I like to do first before even looking at the balance sheet, the income statement.
Mm. Mm. I'm gonna have to watch the recording afterwards, bro.
Yeah.
But I
But
really
yeah,
appreciate.
short answer to the AMD is wait.
Cool.
And if you miss it,
Yeah, that's cool.
it goes, you miss it and it goes. Accept it. I'm missing it
But
too.
PayPal one, you put me on PayPal one, which is good.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. Yeah,
But you
yeah.
wanna, these are the kind of opportunities you like. Payments, right? No brainer this. It might not do NVIDIA numbers, it might not go crazy, but we can see from the chart the potential,
Yeah.
right? We see that it's got the ability to. We see that it's got the volatility to.
Yeah.
We see that it's a large cap, 70 billion. It's a large cap company. It's not a penny stock. It's a company you know. It's a household name. Businesses use it. It's a crypto play. We're coming up to a bull run.
Yeah.
It
Yeah. It's
literally
got all the
ticks
signs.
all the boxes you'd want on an SP alert. I'd say
Yeah.
even potentially even more than Tesla.
It's also bringing out a stable coin as well.
It's all exactly. They're also bringing out a stable coin. So they might be the market leader or the first to properly get businesses to accept crypto as payment.
Yeah.
Sorry, Debs, what's a stable coin, please?
Okay, so a stable
Cheers,
coin
Debs.
in layman's terms, yeah, see you later. So a stable coin in layman's terms is, imagine the dollar, but in crypto world. So there's something called USDT, Tether. This is crypto, but it's just cash in crypto world. So you can open, if you have a Coinbase account and you send pounds into it, you deposit pounds into it, you can buy Tether. And what that does is basically just converts your pounds into dollars. It's the equivalent of dollars.
Okay.
It's not like a crypto, like a project. It's literally just, I'll give an example. Let's say I buy Bitcoin and Bitcoin goes up and down and it makes profit. If I want to take profit on the Bitcoin, all I do is I convert it into this.
Okay.
This technically on paper shouldn't move.
All right.
It's just a dollar in crypto world. That's a stable coin. There's
Mhm.
another one called USDC. You can see it's about $1. And again, technically these should never really move. So Coinbase is PayPal is trying to create its own.
Okay. All right, thank you.
So that's the news there really is it's getting crypto ready.
Okay.
So if you didn't want to go out and buy different crypto by buying just the same way buying Coinbase shares is exposure to the crypto world, but through the stock market, because you're buying shares on a platform that enables people to buy and sell crypto. Buying PayPal is another crypto play in the sense that because they're trying to adopt crypto into their systems and integrate it, if crypto does really well, you should start to see that getting reflected in the prices of share PayPal. So it's another edge that it has as a stock to do well.
Okay, so I just bought crypto on Tuesday. So what should I be expecting to hold that for a long time then?
Yeah, what did you buy? Was it,
When you
remember
say
what
what
you
did
bought?
I buy? As in how
What did,
much?
yeah, no, which crypto did you buy?
No, I bought PayPal on Tuesday.
Oh, you bought PayPal on
Yeah,
Tuesday.
yeah.
Okay,
So should
yeah,
I
that's
be expecting
fine.
for a long time?
Yes, yeah, I mean, we can't say when the market will give us profit.
Of course.
It could be in a week, it just goes crazy. Look
Mm,
at Nvidia in 1 month, it just went ballistic.
yeah.
But it's about being ready and willing to wait as long as we need to wait.
Mm,
So you should be happy to hold PayPal for 5 years,
really?
but
Okay.
ready to sell if the market gives you a healthy return in 3 months.
Right. Fair enough.
And all we try to do in stock pickers is do as best as we can to shorten that time frame,
Okay.
even though we're happy with that time frame. So whereas all these social media people will say time in the market beats time in the market, we'll always try to time the market.
Mm,
And even if we get 1 in every 10, that's enough. Because that one enables you to sell to make a quick profit and
mm,
reinvest it in another long-term play. And over
okay.
time, that little 1 in 10 that you can
Adds
just
up.
keep churning out, it adds up. So you should always try to time the market rather than not try at all. It makes no sense to not try at all,
Okay.
right? So on that note, let's look at PayPal. Let's see what let's look at the technical analysis. I use IG.com. A lot of people use TradingView. I'm not a TradingView person yet. I could, but I just got really comfortable with this platform. Client sentiment. This says of all the people using the platform, 99% have long positions. So 99% of people are also trying to buy. I don't pay too much attention to this, but I like to know. It's a little cog in the entire world that I'll look at sometimes. Back to the chart. I like my Bollinger Bands. Layman's terms, these are boundaries. So the lines in the middle are like moving averages. So this is just like the mean, the average price over this time period. And the boundaries, Bollinger Bands, let me know 2 standard deviations away from that average. So most prices shouldn't stay beyond 2 standard deviations away from the average price for too long. It's a bit like stretching an elastic band. Let me find another analogy. Imagine the number of times you're late to work in a week. Let's say on average, everyone is late at least once to work every week. But you say 2 standard deviations is someone being late 3 times in a week, 4 times in a week. That 4 times represents the boundary. 2 standard deviations. Because if we say on average, one person is late or someone is late once a week, but out of 10 people, some people are late 3 times, some are late 2 times, some are late 4 times. You can calculate the difference between how many times they're late in the week versus the average. So if you notice that someone is late 7 times in a week, That's an anomaly. Something's off. That's a mispricing. That is the same as if price was to break past one of these boundaries up here. It's not something that will continue to be the case. Either you get fired, you get brought into a room, and then you improve. But it's an anomaly. That's the best way I can explain the standard deviation concept. It's your deviation from the average, from the normal. Price will do what it wants, and on average, in each of the different, each candle represents 5 minutes. And it's saying on average, this is where the price was. And each point is $20 candles. So this says 20, and it uses a standard deviation of 2. So this says, at this point here, if you look at the average price, each 5-minute period or 25-minute periods back, then it will be here, where the line is. This line here is saying, if I took this red candle, the average price there, and I added it to this price and that price all the way back to 20 candles away, and I divided it by 20, it will give me this number here, 6506. So that's just, in layman's terms, what it's using. So this smooth black line here is just representing an average of price using each group of 20 periods back. And it's saying the price at any one time, if it moves more than 2 standard deviations, i.e. if it crosses the boundary, you can see here, it crossed the boundary. And what happened? It went back into the boundary. Because it can't stay there too long. You can see down here as well, it crossed the boundary. And we know that anytime price crosses the boundary, it can't stay there too long. And it corrected back in. So these are 5-minute candles. For stocks, you want to look at monthly candles. You can see it very rarely breaks. And if you look up here, where it did break, even within the same month, it had to fall back in. And that's when the price went from 300 to 250. And if you look at the chart, it's there. Price hit 300, and later on in February, it came back down to 250. But Google Charts won't give you all the information. That's why we use technical analysis. With technical analysis, you can see that it could have brought back. You could see that if you're a day trader, you'd be selling at 300, and in the same month, you'd be making a quick buck there. Then you can look at the weekly. So each candle will represent the week. And by the way, let me make this bigger. See this big red candle in the middle here? The top of it is a high. So the highest price the stock reached in a month. The bottom is the lowest price the stock reached in a month. So in a week, because I'm using weekly candles. The top of the red rectangle is where it opened. And the bottom is where it closed on the week. So if it closed lower than where it opened, the candle will be red. Green candles represent where it closed higher than it opened. So you first need to look at the color of the candle. And that will let you know, like the color of this candle here is green. Actually, let me use a nice big green candle here. This, because it's green, it tells you that the top of the rectangle is where it closed and the bottom of the rectangle is where it opened. Buy low, sell high. So each candle gives you a little bit of information. All of this is on the course, so you can just watch session. It's a standalone on the course, technical analysis. But I'm just retouching on it here so you can see you can learn a little thing here as well. And how we can apply it when we're looking to take profit off stock. And sometimes how we can apply it to give us a bit more confidence. But I've done something for you on the watch list that should make things a little bit easy. In stocks world, there's something called the 200-day moving average, which lets you know it uses daily candles. And it will count 200 days back from today. And then it will find the average price. So when you see an alert, you can go to this column here. And it will tell you the percentage distance from the 200-day moving average. So you want it to be fairly close to the 200-day moving average, which means you want the number in here, as it tells you, ideally a low percentage or negative for a stronger signal. So let's look at PayPal. There we go. 112. Alert price 100. Some people would have bought at 100 and bought some more at 40. 50. Average price is probably where it is now. So some people are starting today and you both have the same average price. But let's look at that 200-day. Okay, sometimes there is missing data. And what that means is the website sometimes has a data freeze and it just needs a refresh. Or it just doesn't have it at all. Because you can see it has it for this one. So a quick thing that you can do is you can go onto Finviz. You can type in PayPal. And you can see yeah, it confirms it doesn't have that specific number, but we can get it anyway from here. because that's what effectively the significance of the monthly moving average lines here do. They give you that base. Usually, you would buy PayPal where this indicator here for the stochastic is below the 20 line. What this indicator does is it lets you know where there's a chance of a turn in momentum. So down here, down here, down here, you see the price pushed up. But you want to ideally see a similar pattern on the monthly. Look at that. The monthly is the strongest form because it's a longer time period. And it's been down here for how long? The longer it is down here, by the way, the stronger the signal. The longer it stays down here. So it didn't just come up like we saw on the... It's not like this, bouncing up and down. Once it went down, it stayed there for a long period of time. You will see it. So that's a tick. Now you can look at the weekly. And what do you see here? You see it's a slightly different pattern, but recently, in the past 6 months, as the price has stabilized, you're seeing these kind of patterns there. Now look at the daily. The daily says it's even looking like it's selling off a little bit on the day, but it's a weaker signal. If you ever have a situation where the daily and the monthly and the weekly all look like this, free money. We had that in Bitcoin. Free money. That was Bitcoin at 20,000. Free money. The monthly, the weekly, the daily, all align at once. And it's an FK alert. Free money. But it doesn't happen regularly. These are once in a blue moon type signals. But we saw it in Bitcoin. And which is why the alert was set for Bitcoin. Because I knew it's free money. And if we're going to start looking at crypto, then I need to make sure that the probability is extremely high that every single person, and you'll see here, who takes the alert is going to eat. Ethereum as well, we saw exactly the same thing. I think it was even at the same time. And you can see since then, Ethereum, Bitcoin, they've tripled, more than tripled. Free money. The technicals are saying it. We know the bull run's coming. Every single star that can align, aligned. And you don't want to miss those kind of opportunities because they do not happen often. And sometimes you see it with selling as well. But that's just a little bit more insight. Let's look at the financials for PayPal.
Hey Debs, whilst you do that, I had a question. How do we use the 200-day average then as an indicator?
You want the percentage to be quite small.
Okay.
So on the watch list, it will tell you here.
Yeah.
Ideally, you want a low percentage or a negative percentage for a stronger signal. So if you see something
buy
like
or sell
10%, buying.
Okay. Yeah,
Let me put that in there for a stronger buy signal. Because effectively, what that's telling you, ideally wants is that it's close to the 200-day moving average. And it's just one extra It's not, you don't buy just because of that. It's just an extra tech book.
Yeah. Got you.
It's an alert. It's close there. And by the way, you
Mhm.
can buy without it being there, by the way.
Mhm.
But it's something that just makes one alert suddenly become higher priority than another alert.
Yeah. Got you.
So it's just
Thanks.
something else to think of. And with the RSI, the RSI is a little bit like the stochastic. I prefer the stochastic. It's stronger. It's more
Yeah.
accurate. It has less false positives.
Mhm.
But Google Finance only gives me the RSI. So it's a good substitute. And again, you want that to be less than 20. Because
Yeah.
this is the line, 80-20. You see on our RSI. I'll add the RSI so you can see what it looks like. And you can see that it will be a very similar chart. You see that?
Yeah.
I've added it.
Yeah.
Because I knew it was going to be a similar. Because experience, but also I know how the RSI is calculated.
Mhm.
And I know how the stochastic is calculated.
Yeah.
And they're a bit similar. The stochastic is just done with a bit more detail.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's calculating moving averages and then the time between where those averages start to change, so you can get like a change in momentum. If you look up here, the RSI is telling you about this. The stochastic is telling you about this.
Mhm.
Even better, you see the RSI aligns with the stochastic. It's telling you that this is coming.
Mhm.
7 months in advance, sometimes.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So likewise, again, if you suddenly see some big green candles in PayPal and you see it burst past 100 in the next 5 to 6 months, you remember this is predicting it.
Yeah.
Is this foolproof? No. But when I talk about trying to time the market, this is exactly what I'm talking about. We have tried.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you try, it's optimal from a decision-making point of view to try.
Mhm.
Because 1 in every 5, 1 in every 10 will be right. You make your money, you come out, you find a new alert.
Mhm.
If you don't try at all, you'll miss all of them.
Yeah.
It's better to get 10% than to get 0.
Yeah.
So yeah, just looking at financials for PayPal,
Yeah.
you
Thanks for
can
that.
go onto the Market Watch website. And by the way, on the watch list, I've tried these links here. Should take you to the same page so we can test it. The PayPal one is here. You click it, voila, there we have it. It takes
Sorry,
me
Deb,
straight to the financials page.
Sorry, Deb, can I ask a quick question, mate?
Yeah,
So, looking at PayPal, right? If you're new to this and you're trying to figure out one of the stocks to add to your watch list or buy, PayPal isn't something that has moved much today in terms of, you know, the movers and shakers or whatever you call it, that color.
yeah.
So if that hasn't moved like 10, 20% minus positive or negative, do you then still look at it because it's a buy and then you do all the rest of the technicals? Or
Yeah, because you have to remember.
I thought that was a first screening point.
No, because you have to remember the market decides all that. The market decides when. We can't. I have opinions sometimes on some stuff, but you can't really. They're opinions. It's, do you know what? With good probability, this one should move soon.
Yeah. Because for me, when I looked at the PayPal and I looked at the details of it, it looked like a good buy, but because going through the sessions, it said it needs to be like, you know, more than 10% positive or negative. I'm thinking, okay, there's something I should hold off on.
No. So the daily check, right? Is this what you're referring to?
Yeah,
Check
yeah,
one.
yeah. Yeah, check one.
Doing this check every single day is the one thing that will get you closer to me in terms of ability to read the market. That's what you get out of it. Today, Ocado is down 9%. You might not get a Finimize article on that. You might not get Financial Times article on that. You might not get anyone picks up on this. Tomorrow, you see it's not moved. You do this check all the time, you will start to notice patterns. You will start to learn the behavior of certain stocks. There's some stocks that can move 50% in a day. There's some stocks that can triple in a day. There's some stocks that don't do anything and then they can have a day where they spike. There's some stocks that will never have any big spikes up or big spikes down, but they will just trickle up like Apple. You start to learn the behavior of stocks. And this will help you when it comes to buying. It will help you when it comes to selling. It's getting a feel of the market. Some people come straight to this, but when you come straight to the charts, you miss vital information that you can only get by looking at the numbers, right? And this check shouldn't take too long, right? So how I do this check, and I do this check multiple times a day, is ETFs I know kind of don't really have massive moves like that in a day. You can see this one is down 12%. Ocado down 9%. Works down 10%. IBIO down 13%.
Well, the thing is, I did
Bear
this.
in mind,
I did
I'm
this-
already like up to like 400. I'm
Yeah.
literally just, the more you do this, the quicker you'll get at it. Because you're just looking for anything bigger or less than 10%, and you're not dwelling on it. You're just taking a mental note. You're going over here. Wait, let me just finish this. So, yeah, nothing big. These penny stocks, I don't pay them any attention. Over time, you realize what's the penny stocks because you can go to the market cap column on the right and you'll see that it's quite tiny. But it's good to just get used to it. This one here has doubled today, but I know it's a penny stock because I've been looking at it for nearly 4 years. I've never bought it, but I like to see it. I like to window shop it. I like to learn the behavior of it.
The thing is, I did this process today, right? And
Yeah.
if you're new and you're trying to build your portfolio, let's say 5 or 10, should you be
Then this
focusing
doesn't matter.
more exactly? Should we focus more on the buy left?
No,
and
this
then do
doesn't
your
matter at
research?
all.
Mm.
This is to get you experience in the market. This is educational. This is like if you start watching the prices of bags or trainers or clothes or cars, whatever it is you like to buy, eventually you get a feel of like what the price of a Toyota should be, or a Mercedes or a Lexus, or a new car versus an old car versus a Tesla. But you start getting a little feel of the market, right? So let's say you've never done that before, and your process is to literally go to someone who's good at cars and ask them, do you know what's a good car to buy of this budget? And they say, okay, only buy cars around the 20K mark. Don't buy it if it's more expensive. Don't buy it if it's too cheap, especially if you're buying it on finance. 20K is the sweet spot. There's two different processes there. Over time of looking at prices or scanning Auto Trader, or you can compare it with flights as well. You're about to go on holiday and you start going on Skyscanner and you're looking at different flights. You're getting a feel of what the cost of a trip to Dubai or Jamaica or Nigeria is. And then you notice that it's not the same price throughout the year, that there's certain times where the price is 50% higher than where it is, or double where it is any time in a year. Or you notice that if you book on the day, it's different from booking in advance. You start to learn behavior, right? There's some people that will just go onto Skyscanner, not really care too much, and buy. We don't want you to do that with us. We want you to say, you know what? I've got a bit of experience here. If you're going to Nigeria, there's Air Peace now, £500 because it's alerting. Rather than just, you don't have a watch list, you don't even know Air Peace exists. You're so used to British Airways, you just go there and you buy, you notice the price is the same as Virgin Atlantic and your check is basic. Then someone else comes in and says, oh, actually, I'm in this travel group and they've told us about Air Peace and I've seen it in the news and it's amazing. I've seen a couple of people who are in the group who have used it and have good reviews. Now your due diligence is better, right? So checking the prices every day is just general knowledge. And in all things in life, what you improve your general knowledge. If you follow football and I ask you who's the best team in the UK right now, you're going to have an answer for me. And it's not because you've sat down revising and studying football. It's because you've built your general knowledge, right? If I ask you who Beyonce is, the ladies, you know who she is, and you might know a couple of songs, and you might know where she last performed, and you might know the name of her daughter, and you might, because it's general knowledge, it's a natural interest. If you want to build a general knowledge with price, action, understanding how prices move, you'll do daily check 1 every day. Now, not everyone will do that. And that's kind of okay because I've got the alerts for you and other stuff, and it's not going to be the difference between you making money using the SPA system or not. But the option is there. It's a bit like how not everyone's going to use their virtual. Maybe 20% of people in SPA use their virtual. But if you do use your virtual, you'll gain something for yourself because you start understanding how the system works with 100K, with 50K, with bigger amounts, and you notice some big changes. You'll notice that with bigger portfolios, you might see bigger swings. You start noticing things that when you get into that financial position, you're not scared to commit a bit more because you've seen the system working over a period of a year on a bigger amount, right? So going back to PayPal, just to look at their financials, cash flow. I always like to go all the way down to the bottom. Remember AMD had 1 billion. PayPal has been fairly stable over the past 5 years, averaging about 4 billion. That tells you that they're very healthy. They're in a very healthy cash position. So that risk of bankruptcy, it's kind of out the window. So dips in price is opportunity. Now, look, I've got this book. I don't know if you can see it. I posted it in the group the other day anyway. It's so an accounting book, Warren Buffett. There are so many different ways to analyze the finances of a company. But what I gave you on the course was a quick financial health check. It gets very complex very quickly. But when it comes to just eliminating the risk of bankruptcy, checking that the company has adequate cash reserves, checking that anything that's like, whoa, you can check that quite quickly. That's what you learn on the course. The accountants, some of the best accountants in the world when it comes to the Heidenbergs and these guys that will really go and do like a open heart surgery on a company to really try and find where even maybe where some of this stuff that's been reported might not actually be accurate because they found something. That's another level. Tesco had a scandal, an accounting scandal, Tesco. And they're meant to be safe as houses. But PayPal, free cash flow, their savings account, great. kind of all this stuff kind of don't really need to know when doing a financial health check. Their balance sheet. Again, for me, you can look at it. You can see their total current assets are quite big. You can see that their total current liabilities are also quite big, and their assets in general, total assets, are more than double, or well, not double, but significantly higher than their liabilities. That's another quick, easy check to do. You can see that their shareholders' equity growing little by little each year. Total assets fairly stable. There's nothing here that's alarm bells. Nothing. And if you ever want to actually remember, maybe you forget, I've put this stuff on the watch list. I've even simplified that even more.
So Dev,
Yeah.
just a quick one. So
Yes.
as you've just said, that looking at the financials, looking at what the prices, this is more of a nailed on stock, right?
Mhm.
So if you're going with like a, I don't know, 20K budget and you'll put in 1,500 towards this stock, would you do it with a 3 bullet approach, or would you do it with a 2 because of where the price is sitting right now?
That's a very good question. First and foremost here, respect markets. Always respect markets. And what that means is you always need to leave room to be wrong. Imagine, like, for example, they were to uncover something crazy about PayPal that they've been lying to us about. Everything I'm saying today is out the window. It's like marrying somebody and then discovering some things that you couldn't have ever known, right? Like that lady that's doing 100 stories on TikTok. If you really, the best way to look at it, right? The best way to see it is you're gonna hire someone to do a job. They pass the CV check, first round screening, first round interview. Their competency and motivation is good. You want to interview them and see if they got a bit of technical skills. They passed that with flying colors. You do your credit check on them, your background check, no criminal record. And eventually you get to the final stages and there's five people that you can give the job. And you know that all of them are very capable. All of them can do the job. And then you just maybe take the one who has similar interests to you, like football or going to the fair tile, whatever it may be that you feel got in common, or the one that seemed happiest, or the one that maybe he's got an uncle that's your best friend from school, or whatever it may be. You're doing the same thing with stocks. So with PayPal, you can even have, instead of changing the bullets, you can do a number of things. So let me actually write out a few things that you could do with PayPal. You can do it like this. You can do it like this. In 2 bullets to answer your question, yes, you can. But this thing here becomes 20. See that break even is a bit like 30 in this manner. Whereas here it was like 20. They take on a little bit of price risk. You can do it like that. there's 2 bullet strategies for everything, and there's 3 and 4 bullet strategies for things as well. The key thing here is just choosing for the right reasons why you're going with each one. So for me, if PayPal was at 45 still, then I'll probably advocate more for 2 bullet strategy. And it, even if at 50, even at 50, I would. But as it starts to move, yeah. So people having a conversation with me in October, they're already 30% in the profit. But I know it's still not too late. We're still below the 1-year high. We're still below the alert. We know it's not too late. For some people, this was their second transaction, so they actually break even now. Buying at 100, buying at 50. We can see even what that looks like. See that? If you bought at 100 at the alert and you bought at 50, you'll break even right now. Almost exactly. Someone who spends 750 today is in almost in the exact same position as someone who even bought at 100 and bought at 50. But the person who bought at 100 and bought at 50 has 1.5k in. So 1.5k in, just a bigger amount. So different people come in at different prices and different levels, and this isn't magic. This is just numbers.
No, makes sense. Makes sense.
So yeah, like if you're very bullish PayPal, we can even do things where, let's say you had a 5k budget for all your stocks investing. I'm comfortable for you to say, I just want this one stock PayPal devs. I want a 3 grand budget on PayPal. And I want to open with 1,000. And if it drops, I want to buy another 1,000. There is a strategy that looks like this for PayPal. There is a strategy that looks like this. There is another strategy that is a 2 bullet. I know the next question is going to be, how do you know which one to go for? This is a personal decision at this point. But my job is to make sure whichever one you do want to go for, we do it in the right way. So something like this, I will avoid if your budget was 5k, your entire portfolio was 5k. Then I'm more reluctant to let you go over 2 bullet. But I'm still okay with you having a 3 grand budget. You have to do it in a slower way. If you're someone that had maybe a 20k budget, then I'm all right with you having a 3 grand budget for PayPal and doing it like this. Because I know worst comes to the worst. Not every single stock in your portfolio will be at like 3 bullets. We can tweak something somewhere else to manage this position and find another 2,500. So it's very important to let me know before you buy anything for this reason. Because the more I know about your circumstances, how much you plan to hit per month into your portfolio, then I can give you the right numbers for you. Because the number for you could be different to the number for me. If I'm already up 50% in the year on my portfolio, then I can do something like this in even a 1 bullet at 50. I might just put 3 grand on there, and I can weather the storm if it drops 25 and I can't buy more. It's fine.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask a question. What happens
Yeah.
if it goes up from 65 now and you get a bit more money, but it's still under your buy alert?
Mm-hmm.
Is it? I guess.
Yeah,
all the-
no. Okay, so I like this question. So buy alert's 100, price goes from 65 to 80. You know you're a little bit late in the day. You're thinking, do you know what? I went in with a 1,500 budget that looked like this. It's at 80 now. I'd rather have a £2 budget for this. So what you do, you make an adjustment. You buy a bit more at 80, 500. You tell me, we'll figure out the numbers. I know that if you do trade one and trade two like this, you basically merge them all into one transaction. So it becomes these two together as a 1K. But I know what the average price is, 71.67. So what then happens is I'll write 71.67. I'll change this to 1,000. And I know that that now becomes my trade one. I've merged the two together into one transaction. My budget is 2K. And I know that the next time I buy will be my trade two, which I can adjust to 40, 30. So now it looks like this. And I've done that, we've done stuff like this on numerous occasions. The only time that's acceptable to average up, as I call it, is if your portfolio is in a way that can enable you to readjust your budget and for it not to disturb too many other things as well. And for this price that you're buying more of to be below the alert price of 100. So when I set the alert price at 100, it's for a good reason. It's to account for stuff like this. 100 is still a 60% dip off the high. So yes, it might have dropped down to 50, but we had a strategy that allowed that. Doesn't matter that it dropped down to 50, even if you bought some at 100, because you buy more at 50. And if you're buying today and it goes up and you feel like you want to adjust your budget because you really believe in PayPal and it's the one high conviction stock you have in your portfolio. I mean, everyone, let's go. Why don't we buy one into our virtual? £8,000 budget, PayPal. 65, £3,000 opener. And every one of these sessions, we'll just have a 5-minute time where we check the progress of PayPal, right? So maybe you've already used your budget for stocks on different plays, but you can still follow what PayPal would do on an 8K budget with me. How about that? That's how I would spend it. Yeah. This is how I spend it.
So if after your purchase at 65, it
Yeah.
doesn't come back down again, just keeps trending up, you just don't
Yeah.
go back in.
We don't do anything. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
And we take this 5K and we move into a pot for another stock. 5K budget.
Okay, got it.
But especially if it goes past 100.
Yeah.
Now
'cause-
you're up 50%. You're making 1.5 grand. We know
Yeah.
we're not going to hit our trade to. We are not allowed. We're not losing money there. We're not going to allow it to go all the way back to the start and not do anything along the way.
Yeah,
Because even when it gets to 100, if it gets to 100, we're going to start the process of selling a little bit and probably leaving the rest to run because
Okay.
it's still got so much to go. Did this with Coinbase. We sold a third of the position at 120 and it's since more than doubled. But it was the right thing to do because the firm amount initially was just way too much. 6 grand at a record high. So yeah, so that's how we'll do that. Obviously, we've used PayPal as and AMD today as the examples, but this should just give you all a bit more confidence. Tell me, one of the biggest rules in SPA that gets broken the most is please tell me before you buy. And there's so much more where that comes from. Please tell me before you buy. Give me the chance to even get you the right plan for you that might be different to someone else. It makes such a big difference. And imagine you're in a room and everyone is being a bit quiet, being a bit transparent with what they're doing. It's healthy. You see, once you start doing stuff in the dark, this is where the bad habits start. And you see, if you're picking stocks, bad habits, they will punish you. You might get away with it, but the one that gets you, it can punish you. So crypto. I tell people that crypto is actually crypto is even easier when we talk about this stuff. Crypto is like I forgot the code. So I don't know, they might have added some of the others, but yeah, as far as I'm concerned, it's Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum. Yeah, Bitcoin was so easy. There's like literally just like one main plan with Bitcoin. It's like 60,000, 20,000. Litecoin, the same thing. 100 is the alert price. Well, 80 is the alert price. Dropped to 40. Took 3 years. It's literally easy on the numbers to work it. But yeah, is there anyone here who has any questions on crypto? Maybe you've never done it before. Everyone here should at least have a um everyone here should at least have a let me show you something. Do they have Ripple? No, they don't have Ripple, but they have Ethereum. Let's look at Cardano. Again, a lot of people use TradingView. It's actually better. I'm just used to this, and I know the signals that I like and I look at. This is a daily chart. You can see, again, it's touching the bottom here. RSI is creeping below that 20 line, not there yet. Stochastics have dropped below. Fairly reasonable buy signal here. You look at the weekly, telling a different story. Kind of in no man's land. Yeah, it's kind of in no man's land. Can't read too much of that. You look at the monthly. Yeah, okay. I somehow found my way in the year 2068. So I'll kill that. You can see, don't have anything really strong per se, but yeah, this is unreliable, but at least it's on the right side of unreliable. It's around the 30 line. For some of these newer ones, I just like to look at the dailies and the weeklies. And if there's no pattern on the weekly, no clean thing on the monthly, then I hit the daily. The daily is strong enough, especially when we know the bull run is here. The daily is strong enough to start thinking of a position. So it's looking like if you see a price at 50, anything between 50 and 60 is a reasonable buy region. I don't know if some of you remember sometime in last month when I put it on the chat that I was buying Cardano. I think it was somewhere here. So you can see the chart I saw.
Would you only do this for established cryptos though, not me?
Yeah, because the game changes for some of the other cryptos. It's not about technicals yet, because the technicals are not developed. So the beauty of crypto is it's still a developing market. And what that means is it will follow technical analysis quite well once it's in the first 20 years. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, when you get strong signals on Bitcoin and Ethereum on this stuff, it will follow it. It will, with very decent confidence, follow it. Some of the newest coins, like you're not going to look at meme coins or PETs or some of the, but stuff like Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Cardano is soon kind of, you can see that it's slowly developing a bit more. Polkadot, Chainlink. Chainlink, be interesting to see what the chart for that looks like. Because I can literally, yeah, I can actually buy this stuff on SpreadBet quite comfortably. But yeah, if you look at Chainlink, for example, it should be similar to Cardano. You should start to notice that a lot of the cryptos have very similar charts. And that's where you know that there's correlation. Whereas with stocks, you don't see that as much. You might see the S&P 500 correlated with, we can even look at it actually. Sell all your index funds. No, I'm joking. Look at the daily chart there for the S&P 500. See how nice that looks. What this is on the weekly, by the way. This is on the weekly. The daily looks a bit like this. The monthly looks like this. Sell all your index funds. Take a look at S&P 500 today at 5,200. Take a mental note of this and then let's check out December. Put it in December. Let's see if it's above or below 5,000. You can use that as a little, or if in the next 6 months or wherever you notice that S&P 500 is falling below 5,000, maybe that's a point to actually start to buy the dip or to start your direct debits again. But yeah, look at this chart and watch what happens when I change it to Apple. You've seen the pattern. You see it's a little bit different. S&P is all up here, all up here, all up here. Apple's even looking like a buy on the weekly. Unlike crypto, you start seeing these kind of differences between the index and the individual stock. With crypto, especially the main ones, you'll see very similar patterns. In fact, with crypto, these are all the ones that it's got. It's got Solana. Well, on this chart, if you want more, you can go on to TradingView. But this tells you something. These are the ones that they recognized first. So it's also good to know that. If it's not on here on IG, but it's on TradingView, then it just means maybe that crypto is a bit more risky or a bit more new. This is a crypto 10 index, which takes the biggest 10. And I look at this a lot. So this kind of lets me know, you see this? It's no surprise that we've seen a bit of a sell-off in BTC. See, RSIs, stochastics, weeklies. It's hit the boundary, the Bollinger Bands. So yeah, taking profit in some of the larger ones and maybe looking to buy back in if it dropped a bit. It's not so bad. Not a bad decision. It's a rational one. As long as you remember to get back in, because this is why a lot of people don't do this, because you forget for a bit, crypto could just be back up and you haven't had a chance to get back. The daily looks like, that's what the monthly looks like. It's kind of given correction incoming. But sometimes you get some false positives. But again, if you now see the correction like we've been seeing recently, you kind of see that was predicted. The charts were showing that we should be seeing a little bit of bleeding. The question is how quickly we rebound from the little bit of bleeding we're seeing, and also how severe the bleeding is. Bitcoin is still above 60K, still around that 65K mark. But yeah, we've done a bit of chart work today, looked at a couple of stocks. I'm just going to look at the chart and, sorry, the chat, and answer some questions. So, Gigi says, we put some money into HL. I haven't actually bought stocks and shares yet. Nothing wrong with that. Do you think I should use the money now to invest it with SPA and no longer use HL facilities? I'm a big fan. Yeah, I think so. Any views on Helium One Global? Let me take a look at that. UK. Market cap, 50 mil, tiny. Interesting. So at the start of the year, it was at 0.2. It's done like 7x. Oof. It actually did a 10x this year. It's then since dropped to where it is now. Look over the past year, it still looks quite cheap. One is a good price for this one, but it's a penny stock. So I'd be very careful with these. These ones always have surprises around the corner. But yeah, if it drops to 1, there might be an opportunity to make a quick win. I wouldn't personally, but as long as you know it's penny stock world, you should only get into these types if your portfolio has already made like good money and you're looking to take a bit of profits and take a portion of your profits and try and dance a little bit of the penny stocks. But yeah, if you are going to do it, it has to be below 1. I bought £400 of Tesla at 198. Yeah. I went through the course, but I'm not clear on if there's is to wait for it to go after my position. Yeah, okay. So what you should have done is there's nothing for you to do now at the current price, nothing whatsoever. But if it gets anywhere near 130, let me know. But what you should ideally be doing, if this wasn't clear, is before you even bought that £400 of Tesla, and I can't remember if you did or did do this or not, because you might have done it, is to send me your averaging plan. Put Tesla in here. Your budget for it, let's call it 1,200, 400, 400, 400, or whatever it may be. Could be 500, 300. The first bit you got at 198. Yeah, just write one of these out and send it to me. I will tweak this to 120. I'll probably put this. Yeah, I'll probably put it like this. But this should be written out before you even buy. You should then screenshot this, put it in the Twin Club, and let me know before you buy. And I might come back and optimize it like I just done now. But yeah, there's something like this is what that would look like. If it falls below 100, I might encourage you to do £50 a month in, just to have it literally on a rolling direct debit. So yeah, this is something it could look like. Half might be better, 100. So if 120 alerts, let's have a conversation. And I'll try and look at this stuff to then see if maybe we can optimize it a bit more. Just going through more questions. Stablecoin. If you have uninvested cash in your ISA, do you advise investing this in an ETF short term? S&P 500, no harm there. But don't put it all in. Just drip feed it each month. You mentioned that SPA XRP is an SPA alert, and I didn't make correct. Yeah, I need to reject those cookies. I just like to get them out of the way. So XRP was an SPA alert. I put it in the alerts channel quite a while ago. I'm gonna do a refresh, but I remember the price was 0.6. That was the alert price. Google Finance doesn't have crypto past Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, which says something about the power of those three. That's why it's not on the watch list. I don't know if that's changed recently. I can check. Nope, it's still. Yeah, it doesn't have it yet, but I feel like that will change soon. So yeah, you have to rely on the chat. So Telegram group, Telegram mentoring, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum. If you want anything outside of that, WhatsApp or the free group. Just dialogue in there. I'm thinking of buying crypto coins, Lofana pre-sale. What would be your approach to taking profit once there's officially been released? If it gets released and you make really, really big gains, you know what I'm doing already. I'm selling. I don't know anything about this. I saw the deck and everything, but yeah, it's the Wild West that. So if it's like you put in 2 grand and it's up 50 grand, I'm selling. I don't mind the headline. You know, if I kept this for 10 years, I'd be a billionaire. I just don't know enough. Does technical analysis work well for altcoins? In theory, especially the long-term charts, it should. Support, resistance, RSI, some of that should. But you also need to think about the fundamental story. We're going into a bull run. Technical analysis would absolutely fail in like 2017 after the bull run's done. Sorry, 2027. Yeah, meme coins are 100% worth looking into. So please don't ignore them. But again, come from a point of profit. Thoughts on LNDA, LNGA? Yeah, I'll try that. LNGA, nothing to do there at all. If that's your average price, it's a waiting game there. There's absolutely no point adding more because it's either going to get back there or it's not. If you said your average price was 1 or 2 or anything like that, then I'll say, okay, cool, get some here. It's worth checking. How much do you have in LNGA, LNGA, by the way? $1.5K. Ooh. It's worth checking because obviously if you put in a grand at this level, you might actually get your average price to look something like 0.17. we can check it. Interesting. An extra grand would make your average price 13. An extra £500 will make your average price 18. I'd advocate for that. As a final bullet, yeah, anything between 600 and a grand. But that's it. That's literally it. Especially at these prices. I mean, we don't have much choice. It has to be a long-term hold. Market not very forgiving in these kind of day trade type plays with the with the leverage LNJ products. But yeah, you're looking to try and exit here as a break even or a small profit, or there has to be a pretty compelling story. Yeah, I think I was just gonna experiment with something. Oh, we do have Ripple. Nice one. So it looks like they've extended it, or maybe they always did. Insert below. Yeah, so it looks like we're gonna get a few more cryptos added, because if they got Ripple, they probably will have nope. Solana. I'll check if they got Solana. Nope. But yeah, I'll look at that later to see if there are other cryptos. I'll just go on Google and try that out. Thanks, Matt, by the way. So yeah, that's it. We've added another line and therefore put in another alert. Let's play Ethereum to 10K, Ripple to 5. But yeah, long-term holds these. Yeah, so we'll leave it there. I'll try and do the same thing again, 5th of last Friday in May. I know sometimes not everyone can jump on, but it's recorded, so it's all good. Thank you everyone for jumping on. See you in the groups. And I'll try and get the recording out at some point as well. Yeah, and keep asking questions in the groups as well, please. All right, take care. Have a good weekend. Happy Q2.